Hey everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of Dodge Garage. I am Mike Musto, along with Kevin Wesley, along with all the competitors that are going to compete in the Dodge Grudge Match at Roadkill Nights. Now, we are here tonight to basically go through the vehicles that we built, why we built them, and how how we think that we're going to perform. But before we do that, I want to go around the horn, have everybody introduce themselves, and more importantly, tell us what you brought. Herman, we're starting with you because you have the biggest mouth.
That's right.
So
they always start with the winners. The winner is first, right? So the car that I brought is
name. What is your full name?
Mike, bring the mic up.
He doesn't need a mic.
Herman, you're the worst at this.
Microphone check, 1, 2, check. Here we go. So check it out, guys. I'm Herman Young, a.k.a. Demonology, the Soul Snatcher.
Okay, all right. Anyways.
Y'all gonna be zombies after this race. But the car that I'm bringing is a car I've been wanting to drive for a long time. It's a car that Wesley Motorsports picked up, and it's a full tube chassis car, but it's like a drift car. But it's a 2009 Challenger, and it is a beast of a car. It has a front and rear independent suspension from the Dodge Challenger, and it's everything that you need to win because it is lightweight. I'm not that light, but I put the car on Ozempic. Ozempic sponsor me.
Maybe you could fit in this set that you were talking about.
Hey man, this man got my short set out the back of the closet. I ain't wore that since 1978, but I got big, I can't wear it. He was going through my closet and he got it out of there. So listen, he brought it back.
We're going to get to style points in a minute, but first let's keep going.
All right. My name is Morgan Evans, and I brought a 1987 Dodge D150. We rolled it right off of a farm and pretty much completely changed it into a little drag truck.
Okay. Now, the next guest is Kevin Wesley, who's also one of the hosts. However, he's going to substitute in for Weston Champlain because we don't know where he is.
They look alike.
Weston, dude.
I'm Weston's doppelganger.
There's spitting image of Weston. So what Weston did you bring to Roadkill Nights?
Well, Weston brought a 70 Satellite. So basically an X-drag car, pulled it out of the weeds, and since like everything else, when things are delayed, like his arrival, parts were delayed. Mm-hmm. So we put it together in about a week. Finished Herman's car first, put that together in a couple of weeks. But really, our main thing at Wesley Motorsports and Direct Connection was to support everybody. So we had a hotline, people called, we texted, exchanged lots of emails, and just helped everybody get their cars together.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm also racing. However, I did not turn one screw or nut on our car. He did. So Soupy, why don't you tell us what we brought?
Okay, so my name is Soupy Wedge-Panich, and we bought a 2023 Dodge Hornet. Well, the very unlikely drag car that we turned into a little drag car. Yeah, it was interesting. We had 30 days to do it. We had a lot of bits we had to fabricate. It was a good time, though.
A lot of bits.
A lot of little
We
bits.
took a small all-wheel drive CUV with a 4-cylinder and turned it into a rear-wheel drive drag car with a 4-link.
Yes, yeah. Pretty much we cut up the car, cut the car right down the middle, made a tunnel, did some firewall stuff.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Normal things.
Normal things. All right, now we're going to get to Captain Style.
Hey.
Garrett.
That's right.
All right. But I am going to say this. So Garrett pulled up to this podcast in a Corvette. Not okay.
There was no rules.
Not okay.
There's no rules.
Not okay.
You should know
Listen,
better.
I asked Matt if I could bring the Demon, and he was like, well, since we don't have the trans cooler on it, he was like, no, not until we get the trans cooler. So I was like, all right. So my guy was like, here's the Corvette.
All right, so go ahead. Now you tell us about what you're going to race.
So my name is Garrett Reed, and I partnered up with my buddy Matt Zerberk up here in Detroit, and we built his 2018 Dodge Demon, mainly for the sake of pissing off the internet, right? We took a very sought-after vehicle, a very rare vehicle from 2018, and we took the supercharged, well, it was actually twin-turbo Hemi out, and then replaced it with this new Hurricane. And yeah, really just for the sole purpose of pissing the internet off, which is always fun.
You finished the car when?
This morning.
Have you slept?
No, not in 28 hours, something like that, 29 hours.
Have you tested the car?
No.
This is going to be great.
Awesome.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. Shoot, give us what you got.
I'm Allison Kovalik. I brought a 1999 Dodge Dakota. It was an ex-drag truck that we have kind of brought back to life. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it.
You made that sound so obscenely simple.
I mean, it's a really simple build, minus the hurricane part.
Okay. All right. Fair
Leaf
enough.
spring truck. It's gonna work.
Okay. Very, very good. All right. So Kevin, now you have to get into the powertrain. What is everybody running? Because there are rules. There were rules.
Well, there's some rules.
Some
Some
rules.
rules are meant to be broken, but most of the rules involve basically you have to run the Hurricane. So T6 3-liter twin turbo out of WSDT. So as a crate engine, it makes about 550 horsepower after running the 8-speed. And from there, it was rules interpretation. So we have, some vehicles with nitrous. We have some vehicles with turbo replacements. All of them are running crazy exhaust systems. Mostly Morgan's isn't. Hers is very mild, and wow, you could almost like daily drive that one.
Yeah.
Some are through the hood, and really it's, the 3-liter is just here to be proven as a good package. Everybody is, really breaking new ground with the swaps, no matter what they did, right? I mean, really everybody more or less swapped it into the vehicle the first time. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. They make good power. Everybody seems to be happy so far with how powerful they are, and just let's hope we can control it on the no prep.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think that's what tonight basically is, right? Tonight, everybody's going to get a chance to take their cars out because this year we're not running on Woodward. We're actually running on the back straight of the M1 Concourse.
Yeah, and M1 Concourse means they're probably not going to glue it.
Nope.
So completely no prep.
Yep.
And then the last thing I heard is there's going to be no burnouts on the asphalt because we can't destroy that either. So that's going to be really, really interesting.
So we running raw dog.
That's exactly correct.
Yes, we're running raw dog.
All right, so here's the deal. Everybody at some point has gotten on a drag strip, right? Herman, you probably have, I can't speak, I know you've got a ton of experience just street racing and drag racing and everything else. What is your first impression of coming off Woodward, going onto the back straight? How do you feel that surface is going to be, and what do you think that all of us are going to need to look out for when we first get on the tarmac?
My first impression is that it's going to be what we call raw dog. That means no puddle burnouts, no pre-burnouts. It's real racing, just like on the street. Like if I pull up to the traffic light, you pull up to the traffic light.
And I tree you. Yep, that's what it is.
You ain't gonna never treat me. Wow. You don't have to ever worry about that. If you treat me, you better wake up and apologize because you know you're dreaming. So it's going to be that type of a race, right? So you're going to have to know your car. You're going to have to know how much you can take. The thing to me is that turbos, yes, they can leave soft, but when they come on hard, and it's hard to pedal a turbo to me. Okay. I don't know. Supercharger, you can pedal a supercharger all day long, but these turbos are fast, man. These ain't nothing to be played around with. You got real power with this high output.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and when the turbos get up, I mean, it gets on boost, and the torque is really very flat, right? So I mean, the torque curve on this is insane. So as soon as the turbos come up, and then the converter locks up, you definitely could be in pedal fest for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to learn how to. You're gonna have to drive this car, because this car is gonna, especially your little short car that you got, that little short bus they put you in. Yeah, it's gonna.
Did you just call it the short?
Yeah, it's the short bus.
It is yellow.
It's
What do you think
yellow.
about that?
It's a short bus. Come on, man. I seen this dude
Bro,
get in it.
you brought half a car.
It's not even a
You
car.
literally
It's not a
showed up
car.
with half a
You
car.
are saying
It's
that's
a
a Challenger.
go-kart.
I want to see VIN plates,
Yeah,
brother.
but I bought the real half. The
Where
bad
is it?
half that you gonna see.
Oh, huh.
That's the that's the half I
with
bought.
2 big nitrous bottles, because you know.
Just stay to the left.
Yeah,
You know, I got to run
Come
the
on,
demon
my man.
outside. Come on, man. Nitrous outlet to the day I die. I got to do
All
it.
right, so you're running the Challenger. You know, you brought the D100, which I'm going to say is rad. That is
Thank
a
you.
cool ass truck. It looks like it could be a daily with the way that the way the motor sits in there. What do you generally race? Like, is everybody racing a vehicle that they're somewhat comfortable with, or are the vehicles that everybody brought completely out of the realm of possibility from their norm?
So to be completely honest, I have never raced a truck before. I mainly have smaller cars with bigger engines and whatnot. So I have experience with having to drive it, having to wheel the car down the road, so that's okay. But the truck actually works surprisingly well, and I think, it's not very heavy, but a little bit of extra weight on a completely.
How much does it weigh?
Am I allowed to say that?
You can say.
Did she ask you how much you weighed?
Hey, wait a minute. I'm sensitive about my weight.
I don't think you're supposed to ask a woman about weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Rude.
It weighs 3,200 pounds.
Wow,
that's
that's
not
actually
bad.
pretty. That's light.
That's light.
It's very light. See, the full-size trucks of the 80s are not what a full-size truck of today is.
Right.
They're a lot smaller. They have like a half C-channel frame, so they're not super duper heavy. Everyone thought it, was going to be probably one of the heaviest ones, but even we were a little bit shocked by it. But it works really well. It's a pretty simple setup, like Allison was saying. Like, it's a leaf spring truck, and that's what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to do anything crazy because leaf springs they kind of work. It's simple. But the truck has been responding really well. I've had a lot of test time with it, and
You have the most money. Don't you have like 500 miles on that thing?
I have 150 miles on it.
So not 500, but
Not
150 is
500.
probably 150
Not
more than all
500.
of us.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
But I've taken it on, like-
149 more than us.
I've taken it on like a 1-hour trip. 'Cause we have a Sunoco 100 octane pump down like 45 minutes from us, and we just loaded our fuel jugs in the back because it's a truck and
Yeah.
you can do that. And we just cruised down there, cruised back.
Okay.
Didn't get hot. It was just a perfect little cruiser.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So you're also running a truck, Allison. What was the genesis behind, the Dakota? Because again, your Dakota is essentially the same size as your D100. It's really,
They're
really
very
Yeah,
similar.
they're very similar.
Very close in weight too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you used to running a pickup truck, or do you generally run something else?
No, I run a 67 Dart normally.
Oh.
So yeah, the truck is new to me, but luckily I have some friends that race trucks,
Okay.
and they're yeah, all about them.
She's got the experts.
Okay.
Anyways, so I have a great team helping me out. So my Dart is a leaf spring car, so I am like a little familiar with setting it up, but
Okay. So you're basically familiar with the dynamics
Yeah,
and
I'm
what
familiar with
it's
dynamics.
essentially going to do.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So in the battle of the trucks, Bailey's not here because he's prepping for sick
Right.
night
He's prepping for sick.
burnout
Yep.
fest. And he said his weighed about 4,200. So you guys definitely have the trucks covered
Yeah.
with the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, Garrett, the Demon.
Yeah.
You've run Demons hard before. Mm-hmm. Any concerns about this Demon? Because one, you've never driven it.
Yeah.
Two, the setup, I want to say, out of all of ours, is probably the wildest setup.
For sure.
Visually.
Yeah, from a
Right?
fabrication standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous just from a standpoint of the powertrain difference, right? With superchargers, I'm very used to supercharged vehicles. I have 2 supercharged vehicles myself, and I know how the power comes on. Just like Herman said, pedaling a turbo car and how the power comes on is a whole different ball game. The turbos light up much later than a supercharger would, and so that's what I'm concerned about because I haven't felt how this engine responds. I've revved it. I've seen that the turbos light quick, but I don't know how the power comes on. Like I don't know if it'll spin these tires or what. So that's what I'm concerned about, especially given the confines of the track. You don't have a lot of room to be wiggling around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the only thing I'm thankful about is that I'm in a newer car with newer suspension that's already dialed, more or less. So I'm not really fighting old tech or older vehicles, so to speak, and worrying about the thing swaying on me and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. It's set up to be a drag car from the get-go. So that's kind of my saving grace, I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So do I get to quiz you on the Hornet build?
I guess so. Let's go.
All right. So what's going on with the 4-link in the rear? Why don't you explain what you did in the back half?
Okay, so we started out, it was a transverse 4-cylinder all-wheel drive. And originally, we were planning to just replace the subframe and put a Charger rear subframe, or a Challenger rear subframe. But that turned out to be more difficult than we thought. So we went with a fabricated 9-inch and came up with a way to mount a 4-link without really just destroying the whole back half of the car, because it was very difficult to try to do all that and not tear apart a whole car and build a chassis car from it.
Yeah. No, you definitely saved some time with that.
Yes.
What about all the packaging under the hood? Because you really crammed
Everything's in
everything
there.
under the hood.
Yeah, well, that was our party trick, right? We when we made things, we doubled them as multi-purpose things, right? Like our fuel tank also holds our pressure regulator, our water box is the radiator bracket. So we kind of did that, right? So this way, you know, multi-purpose single piece of, you know, bracketry. So it would.
But you just didn't get to the power steering. I know that thing is a treat to drive.
No, man. I mean, when we first put the Hornet together, this was last year. We built it for SEMA, so we literally put together the world's first wide-body Dodge Hornet. So we're running 285 squared on that. So 285s with power steering is a piece of cake.
Oh,
285s with no power steering, not so much.
Well, when we first took the car apart, the power steering, originally we were like, you know what, the best way to do this, the best way we could save some room underneath the engine was to have an electric column. The Hornet came with an electric column. It's just we ran out of time to try to get it all figured out. So, I mean, we ran into a bunch of steering problems where we had to move the steering rack from, it was pressed against the firewall, and then we moved it forward. So we kind of took the knuckles and switched them left to right. So now we, you know, the steering rack's in front.
Well, I think one of the other things I want to point out is that, you know, everybody here that kind of built these cars, nobody realizes that the amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of cost.
I do.
Well, you do. You do. You do.
Yes, I do. Yes, sir.
You guys do. I do. Do you?
No, you don't.
No,
No, he's just a driver.
sure. Yeah, I mean, you stayed awake. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I'm barely awake.
you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I was there the whole. I've been
He
here for.
witnessed
I've been
it.
here for a
I've been here
month.
for a month.
I've been here for a month.
But the cool part is everybody puts so much time and effort to build these cars, to take them out, to bring them to the crowd, to showcase exactly what Roadkill Nights is, and to showcase to the fans, like, listen, if we can do it, you can do it. The whole thing is about just motivating everybody else to get off their ass, get back into the garage, or pull whatever car they have, you know, out of the barn or out of the field, and use parts from Direct Connection if it's a Dodge, you know, whatever the case is, and really come out and do events like this. Because it doesn't matter what you can see. If you guys walk around and you look at the cars that we brought, everything is different, right? You've got old pickup trucks, you've got old race cars, you've got old everything. Anything that you have, you can make into a driver. You can make into a racer, which I think is one of the best parts about the Grudge Match, right? Yeah. Like, none of us had these cars a month ago. No. And now everybody's here and we're going to go rip it up, so.
Yeah, and it just proves how flexible the Hornet packaging is, or the Hurricane packaging is,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, the T6 can definitely be put into a lot of different vehicles. I mean, we have pickups, we have old B-bodies, we have late model Challengers. You know, it really is a flexible system. So whatever you have, even if it's not Mopar, you definitely have to consider putting a T6 in it.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. If you guys go look at the Hornet, we have a little sticker on the front of the Hornet. It says FURLS on there. There's a reason for that, and the reason is that, you know, Soupy and myself, our job is to take that same motor and transmission that we put in the Hornet, take it out and put it in a bunch of different vehicles. So we're going to take that motor trans out. We're going to put it in something, go drifting. We're going to put it in something. We're going to go road racing with it. We're going to put it in a buggy and go off-road with it. And I think that everybody has these preconceived notion that there's only one or two solutions in the aftermarket that you have. That is so not the case. And our job is literally to prove it. And I think everybody else here is proving it by showing up with the cars they have tonight. So keep tuned into Dodge Garage. We're going to tell you when the series is going to go live. Keep in tune with Hemmings.com. Go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and it's going to be fun. But don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Anybody got some concerns about anything?
Of course, I have concerns.
Of course you. You just sit there and go like.
I need sleep first.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that, and then again, the fact that it's no prep, 30-foot wide, with no burnout really. In a car I haven't driven yet.
Okay, so you sound.
Oh, you sound like a driver.
Yeah, excuses before we even
Seriously.
start.
I'm just stating all the things. I'm not saying they're excuses. This is what it is. So that's my concerns, and I'm just hoping that, you know, the guys can get the trans cooler on it and figure out all the other stuff we need to finish it, and then I can go out there and do a couple hits.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's the only thing. Once I get some hits, my anxiety will go away.
All right. I'll say concerns.
No, not really. I mean, I think we have a couple issues that we're fixing right now. Once those get fixed, we should be able to make a full hit and should be good.
All right. Very good. Soup.
All of the above.
Who's driving it? Are we both?
You're driving it first. I got kids. No, I think it's just the rear suspension. Like I don't know what a Hornet's going to do with a 4-link and a 9-inch rear. So it'll be interesting to watch it leave.
I mean, it's such a short.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a square.
To where it'll
It's a-
try
no,
to
it's
jump
an egg.
around you.
Yeah. So
and you
it's
don't have room to correct.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very
That
short.
makes me feel
It's
great.
going to get really squirrely, and it'll be a good run.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
You'll be all right, Mike.
Kevin?
I just want to get through it. It's been a long months for us.
Yeah.
And it's good, both cars are running. We definitely have some minor things to finish. Weston's car definitely has a list. Herman's car is ready to go. But no, it'll be fun. Let's stay safe and everybody have a good time and ultimately drive them home or put them back in the trailer.
Okay. Morgan Harmon, last final concerns. Final thoughts.
I don't really have any concerns. I'm pretty confident in the truck. I've,
Okay.
done some hot laps at the track and shaken the bugs out of it.
How fast you go?
Well, listen, you're asking all the important questions, all right? You got to leave some things for surprise. But every surface is different, and this is a surface that nobody's drag raced on
right.
before. So it's going to be interesting for all of us, and I am interested to get the first pass down and just feel the truck and see what it's going to do.
Okay. Very good. Herman, final thoughts.
I'm excited about driving this T6 because it's like 200 pounds lighter off the front end of the car. And when the turbos kick in, the horsepower is there. I mean, it's really pushing the car. You can feel the car moving. So I just want to get on the track and hammer this thing and see really how fast this thing can go. I'd really like to put it into one of my other cars just to see how fast I can get this thing down the track.
All right, fair enough. Well, so there you have it. So Roadkill Nights 2024, Pontiac, Michigan, M1 Concourse. Here's the deal. This podcast is going to go up, I'm assuming, tomorrow morning because we're going to test it tune tonight. If you are in the area, put the family in the car, bring them down. You've got the car show, the drag race, the grudge match, the thrill rides,
Live music.
vendors, music, food. It's a killer event. Don't sleep on it. Wake up early, get in the car, come on down here, and just have a great time.